Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Oscar Buzz, episode 19. We're almost to 20.
Yeah, almost a big 2-0.
Yeah, the big one. Not really. But I am Trevor here, as always, with Thomas. Thomas, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. We've got a couple questions this week, which fun new segment if anyone's new here watching. A couple reviews, bit of news, couple trailers. Just a standard show. Standard show.
Basic, yeah. We got a massive guild award. Not like it's not a big category, it's the makeup and hair guild, but like some very interesting implications with some stats that I've researched on that one.
Okay.
Talk about. I know what I'm predicting for makeup and hair now, and it's not what I thought I was going to be predicting.
Right.
All right, you just want to jump straight into the news, though.
Sure.
Let's kick it off with the Berlin Film Festival Awards. Berlin was pretty quiet this year. It was the 10th through the 20th of February, and I feel like there wasn't that much. But the big prize went to Alcaraz, film by Carla Simon. So Carla Simon made her feature debut with Summer 1993, which in 2017, which was submitted by Spain for the Oscars. Now she's just won a Golden Bear with Alcaraz. It's at like a 91 on Metacritic. I think Spain could potentially submit. I mean, if they submitted her feature debut, now she just won a Golden Bear with it. Like, it would make sense for them to submit her film again.
Yeah.
And maybe this
we have seen Spain do some stupid stuff in the past, i.e., not submitting Parallel Mothers. So can't ever be sure of what some countries will submit.
But I would feel, as of now, like if I'm trying to make like very early international feature predictions, like, generally try to go with the Cannes stuff, and then like maybe something from Berlin sneaks in. So especially with the fast precedent, if this is getting submitted, maybe it gets the nomination. Another one, Hong Sang-soo, one of the big directors out of South Korea, had his film, The Novelist's Film, get the second place prize. So Hong Sang-soo never had a film nominated at the Oscars. I don't know if he's even never been submitted, but he's one of the most critically acclaimed directors ever. So just another one of films. He does not make Academy-friendly films typically. They're very like of his own vision, but you never know which one will be his breakthrough. So one to keep an eye on. Another director, similarly, who's never been nominated but who's very beloved, is Claire Denis. Her film Fire, or Both Sides of the Blade, has 2 titles at this point. She won Best Director for it at Berlin. So once again, never been nominated. She made her English language debut a couple of years ago with High Life, starring Robert Pattinson, which is a very good, very weird sci-fi film. So again, Berlin wasn't that big this year, but there are a couple things to keep our eyes on. Overall, not too much. The big thing that I'm looking forward to is the Cannes Film Festival lineup announcement, because that's going to give us, like, we see so much stuff come out of Cannes.
Cannes is a bigger festival on the whole than Berlin.
Like the big 3 are like Sundance, Cannes, and then TIFF, and then on like the level below, you have like Berlin and Venice and Tribeca and New York and everything like that. So, all right, let's talk about Ridley Scott. He made one good movie last year and one bad movie last year, and now he's doing another one. And it is Napoleon, starring Joaquin Phoenix. We got news a little bit ago that Jodie Comer dropped out and was being replaced by Vanessa Kirby, and Tahar Rahim has joined, star of The White Tiger, I believe.
The Mauritanian as well.
Not The White Tiger, sorry. Yeah, got those confused. Yes, The White Tiger. I just said it again, god damn it.
Just said it again. The Mauritanian. He was in The Mauritanian.
Just let you take this
one. Decent actor. I enjoyed his role in called The Serpent, a little mini series that came out. last year. God, well, maybe 2 years ago at this point. I don't exactly remember. But I enjoyed his performance in that. He's a pretty good actor. And yeah, I'll be interested to see what he brings to this movie.
I'm just not going to talk. Let's move on to the next story. Um, Babylon, Damien Chazelle's new film. So this isn't that noteworthy, but it's going to be they have a deal with Paramount Plus, so it's going to be getting, I think, just a 45-day theatrical window, and then we'll be going straight to Paramount Plus. So just we're seeing more of these types of films go to streaming fairly quick. I believe it's being released like Christmas and limited release, and then it expands on January 6th of 2023. And then if it's Christmas, then it should be on streaming early February, right before Oscar nominations. So,
yeah,
I mean, it's we're seeing very early campaign strategy, but like obviously they're going to be campaigning very hard for this because it's Damien Chazelle. So
yeah. And also it is short, 45 days, but equally it's generous enough. It's better than being day and date. So at least it is getting some time because, a film like La La Land, you don't want to see that really for your first time on a small screen.
no,
I would have loved to have watched it first time, big theatre,
me too.
good sound system. So it's, 2 years ago, pandemic wasn't possible, but equally I am glad now we are getting more of these, maybe smaller films that maybe would have been released onto streaming straight away last year. These smaller films get a theatrical exclusive window.
Definitely. So yeah, again, not too much to touch on here, but still interesting. Another thing that isn't that interesting, but Dune Part 2 starts shooting at the end of the summer. Denis Villeneuve said that there's going to be a lot more Harkonnen stuff. Also rumored that Anya Taylor-Joy will be joining the cast.
Yeah.
So we're getting some little updates. We talked about, so since Villeneuve was snubbed for Dune here, potentially he gets the Peter Jackson treatment. They're waiting until the end of the saga to reward him. The people have pointed out Peter Jackson was nominated for every installment. So
yeah. Also, Dune wasn't Lord of the Rings. Like, it was good, but it wasn't great.
Yeah. Yes, agreed. So we'll see. I mean, this is coming out 2023, I believe.
I would presume so.
Like late
Yeah,
2023. I feel like
that should be enough time.
So, I mean, I'm very excited for it. We'll have to see where it goes.
Yeah.
Like this could either be an even bigger Oscars hit or it could be a flop at the Oscars.
Yeah.
I don't really see it like just getting like, the same nominations.
No, because I think they'd see, like, what's the point in doing that? Like, you either go bigger or you just, I guess, ignore it completely.
Yeah.
It probably won't be ignored completely. I mean, it's June. It will still probably get some awards attention, but equally, yeah, I agree. It's either very in or maybe on the outskirts.
Yep. Agreed. All right, we have. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. We have a couple of animation news. One I didn't put on the document, but Brad Bird is directing a new animated film, Ray Gun, for Skydance Animation. You're a bigger fan of Pixar than I am. Thoughts on this? Brad Bird branching out.
It's a good title. It makes me intrigued about the movie. Love Brad Bird as an animated director, obviously. Incredibles, Incredibles 2 even. Loved Incredibles 2, loved Incredibles. He knows how to direct animation. He knows what works with animation. Not too familiar with Skydance, to be fair. Not too familiar with them. I'm not aware of their track record, but equally, if they've got someone like Brad Bird involved, should be an interesting project, to say the least.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm not that familiar with Skydance either, but they've done some stuff. So, the other big piece of animation news is the director of Ernest and Celestine is going to be making a new animated film, partnering with Illumination. So that's a bit scary, but It will be focusing around like a family of ducks.
Okay.
If
Okay.
if it's handled with the tenderness that Ernest and Celestine was here for this, because I love Ernest and Celestine.
Yeah, we both love that film. Both think actually it should have won.
Um,
2013 animated feature.
we both think, yep, better than Frozen, better than The Wind Rises, and whatever the other one was.
The second me too.
What else was nominated that year? Oh, Jesus Christ, yeah.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
so I don't know. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean they've got a good
I
track record, and
I
as long as they put that time and effort into it, it can turn out. It can turn out well. I do hope they use a similar
like
animation style. You know, they don't have to use the same
yeah,
animation style, but
it's
just
Illumination though. Like
don't
that's
go
a
3D. I hope it isn't 3D.
it's going to be though. It's Illumination. Like that's what's scary about this. Like if you tell me Ernest
Yeah,
and Celestine directors making a movie about family of ducks, I'm like, cool, I'm ready to cry. But like if it's like Illumination,
yeah, yeah. And we know Illumination are pretty infamous for making movies solely for money and for nothing else. You know, they
yeah,
don't make quality movies. They make movies that make money, and fair enough, their movies do tend to make quite a lot of money. They are a very
yeah,
successful production company, but
they
equally,
are.
then they're not my favorite animation studio. Put it that way.
Agreed. Very much agreed. So we'll have to see about that one. All right, some smaller news. Jack Quaid has joined the cast of Oppenheimer. This film just continues to build its stacked cast. Like this cast is huge. It's gonna be big.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Jack Quaid just becoming another piece to the puzzle that is Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer.
Yeah, so I'm not actually not too familiar with Jack Quaid, but you know, I in Christopher Nolan, I trust. I trust Christopher Nolan to make the right decisions in terms of acting.
Yep.
At least maybe you know story wise. You know, he's made some questionable decisions, but
Yeah.
equally in acting, the acting in his movies has never not been phenomenal. So yeah, we'll see. I hope he can live up to the mantle.
Definitely. Definitely. So well, we'll see. We'll see. I'm not that familiar with Jack Quaid either. He's from what I've seen, like he's okay. I don't love him, don't hate him, but it doesn't seem like he's going to be the lead in this film.
No, no, I doubt it. I doubt it. When you've got a cast as stacked as it is,
Yeah,
it would be odd to put Jack Quaid the
Jack
lead.
Quaid is the lead. Yeah, no, he was just in Scream, I believe, so he's fairly, not the biggest name in the world, but I don't hate this casting, regardless of who he's playing. Yeah, the son of Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan, so nepotism.
Well,
All
you know,
right. Um,
nepotism for you.
another piece of acting news. Kate McKinnon has joined the cast of Barbie. Yeah. Sure, yes. Love her on
Okay.
SNL. I she wasn't the best in Ghostbusters, but I
Now, I do tend to find the comedy style a little grating. I can't lie.
yeah,
But she does weirdly, you know, fit this sort of
oh
role. You know, because
yeah,
she does almost have a quite a not artificial quality. Artificial is what I'm looking for. You know, I feel like she could play this character, and it wouldn't be much different to how she plays roles in SNL and stuff like that. You know, it
yeah.
doesn't feel like too much of a leap of logic to picture her in this movie. If you get what I'm going for.
No, she's going to be like, and she's going to be an SNL character in this movie.
Yeah,
Like, and sure, like I saw a tweet. It was like, if this movie was being directed by literally anybody else, we would all be making so much fun of it right now. But Greta Gerwig is like a very accomplished director, who I mean, she's one of my favorite directors. I think a lot of people respect her, and her talent. So like, listen, and until if I see like a trailer for this movie that's like disgustingly bad, then I might back off. But until then, like I'm all in on this movie. Like this cast's pretty good. This cast's pretty good. Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, Kate McKinnon, Simu Liu. And even if you aren't the biggest fan of Greta Gerwig, there's also Noah Baumbach there who's writing the script. So like, I mean, I happen to love both of them, but like, they're two phenomenal writers. This cat, like, I don't know. This is either going to be one of the biggest like flops in history, or it's just going to be great. And I'm very here for it.
How it can be a massive flop given
the talent,
the talent behind it. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm excited for this movie. It's going to be great. Well,
we'll see. We'll see.
Something that isn't going to be great though.
What would that be?
Is the Oscars fan favorite. So a recent poll was done by Deadline. Camilla Cabello, Cinderella's in the lead, everybody.
Yeah. As we mentioned another time, though, this doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. We said it before. It's going to be Spider-Man No Way Home. Like, same way Jane Campion's going to win director, Spider-Man No Way Home is going to win this fan favorite award, whatever it is. It's an award. I don't even know. It's recognition for Spider-Man No Way Home, basically. That is what this award is. And even if Cinderella is ahead in the polls, doesn't make much of a difference.
Yeah. So like, it was initially Zack Snyder's Justice League, and then the Oscars were like, nah. And then Spider-Man No Way Home was like, there. But then Johnny Depp like stands and Camila Cabello stands have been flooding in. So Johnny Depp was in a film called Minamata. And then Cinderella, obviously Camila Cabello, and then they've been pushing very hard. Then Zack Snyder fans have now switched to Army of the Dead because and then they've been pushing very hard for that. They've got it trending on Twitter. Listen, it would be very, very funny if it wasn't Spider-Man. Like, imagine if it was one of those three. Like,
Army of Dead, which is as mediocre as they come, wins an Oscar. I would actually rather see a film like Cinderella win, because at least that would be funny, some entertainment. A terrible film like that getting a win at the Oscars. Army of Dead, really?
That'd be something.
Yep.
Honestly, I hope this is just all a ploy, so that way we're all actually kind of happy that Spider-Man wins.
Yeah. It's adding to the whole fakeness of this award. They're just throwing in pretend contenders.
So we're all like, oh, thank God, it's Spider-Man, Jesus. Okay. Let's talk about a potential contender down the line that was just announced. The Forrest Gump trio, actor Tom Hanks, director Robert Zemeckis, and writer Eric Roth are going to reteam for a graphic novel adaptation called Here. The graphic novel Here is about a corner in a house, and it follows what happened in that corner of a house over the period of like hundreds of years, and like different people moving in and out. Okay. So I don't like Forrest Gump. I think that it's a pretty bad movie. Judging by your Letterboxd score, I think that you disagree. But I
will always hold resentment towards it for beating this film here at the Best Picture. I would always hold resentment for it to that, but I do think it is a good. It's just one of those heartwarming movies that I don't know how people dislike it, but maybe some questioning messaging. But from what I've heard, the book that it's based on is even worse in terms of messaging and racist undertones. So at least they did trim out them. But Tom Hanks is just iconic in that movie, and it shouldn't have won Best Picture. But I'm not that mad that it did. I can see why it won.
I don't know. I respect the movie for. I mean, it's a major part of film history. It's an iconic film. It's a cinematic, like historical. Like it's big. I feel similarly about Pulp Fiction, ironically, from the same year. I just like I think that some problematic messaging is a big understatement. I have problems with that movie. I just this morning I made a 6-tweet thread because I'm that person now. But it's I don't know. You can hear my full thoughts on Forrest Gump on Letterboxd or Twitter. Follow me if you want. But I I'm not the biggest fan of that movie. I think that there are lots of problems. But overall, like it's this. I like this concept. I'm here for this concept. This concept sounds very interesting. Almost sounds like too artsy for the Oscars, but like with this crew, they'll definitely make it more broadly appealing. Like I would love to see like somebody like an a more art house director like take this on. Like give me like I don't know, like Kelly Reichardt of First Cow directing this. Like that would be fun.
Yeah, because I mean, outside of, no offense to Robert Zemeckis, but outside of Back to the Future and Forrest Gump, I haven't really liked any of the stuff he's done. The Back to the Future sequels are fine. Who Framed Roger Rabbit is fine. Romancing the Stone is bad. Castaway is not great either.
Is
yeah
interesting. So, like I quite honestly just like Back to the Future out of his movies, and like I don't hate Back to the Future Part 2. I don't hate it.
No,
like I think it's pretty decent, but still not good. So yeah, I don't know. Eric Roth just wrote Dune as well. So he was just nominated. Like this could be something. I don't know. Tom Hanks is like you can just have fun. You've won 2 Oscars. You have so many nominations. Like he was in a trailer for something that looks kind of bad. I'm being very negative today, but I'm really not here for the trailer that he was in and why he's going to be this year's Jared Leto. So yeah, I don't know. This sounds interesting. I wasn't a fan of the last movie that this trio did together, but like I don't know. With these 3 names attached, I think it's hard to deny that this is going to be a contender.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see. All right. I believe our last piece of news is talking about the Makeup and Hair Guild winners. So, Thomas, have you seen these?
I have not seen these. So, from what you said interesting. So, yeah, should be an interesting live reaction.
Yeah, live reaction. All right. So, special effects makeup. So the nominees were Coming to America, Dune, House of Gucci, Tammy Faye, and The Suicide Squad. The winner, Coming to America.
Okay.
Contemporary makeup. Black Widow, Coming to America, Don't Look Up, No Time to Die, The Suicide Squad. Winner, Coming to America.
Ooh.
Period and or character makeup. Being the Ricardos, Cruella, Dune, Gucci, Tammy Faye. Winner, Cruella.
Okay.
Over Gucci and Tammy Faye. Contemporary hairstyling. Coming to America, In the Heights, No Time to Die, Matrix Resurrection, Suicide Squad. Winner, Coming to America.
I see where this is going. I see a trend here.
And period hairstyling, indoor character hairstyling, Being the Ricardos, Cruella, Gucci, Tammy Faye, West Side Story. Winner, Being the Ricardos. So irrelevant. So Coming to America won 3 and Cruella won 1. Tammy Faye and Gucci were shut out, as was Dune.
Yeah.
So
okay, well that has changed. That has changed things.
A bit of statistics briefly.
Yeah. Okay.
In the history of the Makeup and Hair Guild, the Oscars winner has won at least one of the 5 categories at Makeup and Hair Guild. The Oscar, since the beginning of the Makeup and Hair Guild, one of their winners,
which isn't that long ago, by the way, which isn't, I know.
9 years. Yeah. It's 9 years. Yeah. But still, since the start of it, at least one of the Makeup and Hair Guild winners has won the Oscars. Coming to America just won 3 of those 5 categories. Cruella won 1. I don't know. I'm probably predicting Coming to America or Cruella.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be predicting probably Coming to America by the sound of it.
Yeah. Which is so weird when Gucci and Tammy Faye and Dune are right there. But this this is interesting because this is like these are Oscars voters. Like the guilds are Oscars voters. Granted, like the category is voted on by everybody. Like they picked these are the people that picked like the nominations for the makeup and hair branch, but like the actual category is voted on by everybody. But like Coming to America has lots of industry support for makeup. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume at this point Dune and Gucci are done. The Eyes of Tammy Faye, I wouldn't say is done because it's one of the more, it's like an independent one, I guess, but that
Yeah.
has very good makeup, and it is hard to overlook that film and makeup. Like they come together.
And it's tied to a potential actress contender.
Exactly.
Right.
So I wouldn't completely eliminate Eyes of Tammy Faye, although I
Yeah.
would now push it behind definitely Coming to America.
Yeah.
Maybe Cruella even. Maybe push it
Yeah.
behind Cruella.
Because like Tammy Faye was my number one before this. I don't have it there. Gucci, like makeup and hair was its only nomination, and it doesn't have enough support to pick up any wins here. So that's not happening.
No.
And like Dune, it doesn't need this win. I don't think it was ever like the biggest contender.
No.
So I don't know. I'm probably predicting Coming to America. Also, wouldn't it be so weird? Cruella could win 2 Oscars.
It could. It could. I mean, it's Coming to America versus Cruella. There's not much difference in it in terms of who I'd want to see win, to be honest. Both of those films were not my favourites.
No.
So yeah,
I'd much rather.
I mean, I don't want to see Cruella in 2 Oscars though. I don't want to see that happen.
My personal pick here is probably Tammy Faye.
Oh, for sure. I think so. Yeah.
Like what I would vote for. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is interesting. It's very interesting though. This is very, very interesting.
Yeah. Well, we could see Coming to America pick up an Oscar, which
how weird would that be?
That would be weird. That would be weird.
That'd be so strange. I don't think I like that. That's weird.
I don't like it. It was my least favorite movie for a long time last year.
Yeah. It's pretty down there for me. Like the makeup and hair, I think the makeup and hair is nomination worthy, but win.
I thought it was good. One of the better parts of the movie. I don't think it was great though.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't that much phenomenal makeup. Like I think maybe I'd rather have seen the Suicide Squad get in, but
yeah, probably.
I don't know. This is weird, but like this is now, I would say, probably the most open category.
I don't know about that.
I think that you could make an argument for any of the 5. Still,
you could. Yes, you could in a way that you can't make an argument for all 5 in other categories. But I think when it turns, yeah. But I think there are more wide open categories.
Interesting. What do you think? Because I can't think of.
I'd say original song. Actually, we discussed it last show. There are
true.
2 very, very possible wins there. Like I go back and forth most days on which one will actually end up winning. I'd say that's one.
And any of
the actress, as you mentioned, actress. Yeah. We don't know who's going to win. We can rule out people, but win is a different story. Original screenplay also, I think, is leaning quite heavily into one, but equally it could go a couple of other ways. So yeah, there are some wide open categories, but I would say, makeup and hair is definitely among that list.
Yeah, for sure. But interesting developments, very, very interesting developments in the makeup and hair category. All right. Should we move on to some trailers?
We can.
Okay. Let's kick it off with the trailer for Fresh. This is a Sundance film, one that I unfortunately missed because it was already picked up for Hulu March 4th. So I was like, I'll just watch it then. And then everybody loved it. I was like, I was kind of wish I would have watched it. But this trailer, I mean, I'm excited for it. Sebastian Stan looks very, very creepy, and I'm very here for it. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm curious your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, it was very punchy trailer. I really like the editing on it.
Yeah.
I guess that's not going to carry over into the actual film itself because trailers are edited
Maybe.
in a very different way to films. But equally,
It could.
The
tone,
it really,
least.
the tone, I guess, it really is a very intriguing trailer. I did appreciate how it started off one way and then shifted to the horror elements, which I very much presume the film itself will be doing. It was starting off one way and then shifting to the more horror elements as Sebastian Stan's character is brought into the fold. It also showed enough of a general concept in order to get you invested in the movie, whilst not showing too much. Sebastian Stan's probably going to do some creepy stuff, but you never know what creepy stuff he's going to do. So it's compelling in that sense. And good trailer on the whole.
Yeah, I also liked how it was shot. It felt like, I know how to describe it, but it felt like very dry, in your face.
Okay.
Kind of cinematography style. I don't know. Like it felt like it wasn't holding much back. Like it was just kind of shoving all of the images up into your face. I don't know. I don't know why that weirdly jumped out at me, but we talked about it. This movie could be very, very big on a streaming platform. This trailer only, I think, proved our points that this is people are gonna be obsessed with this thing.
Yeah, I mean, trailer didn't have many views when I clicked on it. It is important to look at the views for trailers when looking at films because the trailers often it's a good sign. It's a good sign, and it didn't have many views. I think I had about 600K if I remember, which is very respectable. But a trailer that we'll get onto later, or probably next, Deepwater, 1.6 million, and it's a very short trailer that doesn't show you anything.
To be fair, though, think about who's in Deepwater.
Yeah.
Compared to sure, it's Sebastian Stan, but he isn't Ben Affleck or Ana de Armas.
Put it this way, I assume Fresh will be a sort of word of mouth kind of one. Like it won't start off with a bang. It will sort of grow over time in a way. That's what I'm predicting for this film.
Think about even this is a weird comparison to make, but did the Squid Game trailer have that many views when it first came out, or did that
probably not when it first came out? No,
really pop off once it hit the platform? I think once people figure out what this movie is actually about, presuming from what I've heard, then this could be very big. I don't know how we're looking at for awards stuff. It would have to be one of the smaller awards, Indie Spirits Gotham. But Sebastian Stan could get some buzz for those, and maybe some critic circles. I could definitely see happening. So overall, not too important for awards, but this could be a thing. This could very, very, very much be a thing that I will like. We will be reviewing it here on the channel. That weekend, probably March 4th. So yeah, a lot to look forward to with this one. Can't wait to see it. Another Hulu thing. You called it. We're talking about Deepwater from Adrian Lin making his return after 20 years. He did Fatal Attraction, I believe, which earned him a Best Director nomination, Best Picture nomination, directed an Academy Award winning performance from an actress who I can't remember. And
he was in Fatal Attraction.
Just a second, head into the Googles. I think she won. I'm pretty sure. Anyways, Fatal Attraction, it was a big Glenn. No, she didn't win because it was Glenn Close.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, it was nominated for picture, director. Close was nominated, and Archer was nominated in supporting, and then it was nominated for adapted screenplay and editing. So then he's picked up a couple other nominations, but in the 80s, 90s, he was a big Oscars player. Taking a little bit of a break, coming back with an erotic thriller similar to Fatal Attraction, starring Ben Affleck and Ana de Armas. Good thing that this is a streaming film because the premiere would have been awkward. We got 45 seconds. It very much tells you that this is going to be an erotic thriller.
Yes, that is pretty much all it tells you.
Yeah. But I don't know. Like Affleck and Armis looked, or the Armis looked good.
Yeah.
Like with this release date, I don't think it's going to turn into anything for the Oscars. Like it's not going to be like a big triumphant return for him.
No.
Honestly, I feel like people will forget this film.
Yeah, especially since like gone are the eras of the erotic thrillers in a way.
Yeah.
You know, we don't see many of them. Having said that, I've liked what Ben Affleck's been doing recently. He was good in The Last Duel. He was good in The Tender Bar. He was very good in actually The Way Back that was released very early on as
nomination for that.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm excited to see where he goes. Anna de Armas, one of the best parts of No Time to Die, despite being in it for about 3 minutes. So, you know, she's a very good actress.
Maybe my favorite performance in the movie.
Yes. But no, it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see. This trailer showed us nothing, but
if anything, this is a random Golden Globes thing because the Globes love Anna de Armas and Ben Affleck. So, if anything, I mean, they're both previous nominees there. If anything, this is a very weird Golden Globes pick that everybody that will like, you know, forget about the movie and then it will be nominated at the end of the year and we'll be like, So yeah, but the trailer, there's really not that much to talk about. They just like talked on a picnic blanket.
They did. They didn't even do much talking. It was mostly just Ben Affleck's in this movie, and Anna de Armas is in this movie.
And then Stans went yeah. I mean that's why it has 1.6 million views. I mean, Anna de Armas stands are you know any stands quite honestly, but you know it's. We'll probably watch this and review this on the channel as well. So,
yeah,
I'm not looking that much forward. I'm not too excited about it, but it could be fine. Performances look okay.
Yeah.
Elvis, Tom Hanks, what are you doing? Like you have a couple Oscars, dude. You can chill.
I think he just likes acting. Some people just like acting.
I understand.
However,
but like,
would you call this accent acting? Would you call this accent acting, or would you call it a terrible, terrible accent? I hope it's not like that for the whole movie. I really, really do, because that could significantly detract from the overall movie.
He's going to be Jared Leto. He's going to be this year's Jared Leto.
He could well be. He could well be. But I also heard that this is Austin Butler singing, so this is his actual voice, and well, he can sing. It turned out. The scene they picked for him made him look a tad bit wooden. If he wasn't doing much. I mean, I don't doubt that he'll be in the conversation because he's playing a music star. Of course, he is. He's got sort of a course lined up like Rami Malek had, but when Bohemian Rhapsody was. Yeah, I mean, it's the same sort of pathway for him to get an Oscar nomination, even win if we want to push it that far. Yeah. Visually, it actually looks interesting. It looked more sort of stylized than I presumed it would be. You know, a film like Bohemian Rhapsody, which I'm comparing it to that because it's a musical biopic.
Is it Bohemian Rhapsody or is it Rocket Man? Is it Bohemian Rhapsody or is it Rocket Man?
I'd place it solidly in the middle because Rocket Man was very stylized. This looks more on a not generic side, but generic. And then Bohemian Rhapsody is at the other end of that. I like Bohemian Rhapsody. I'll clarify that. But stylistically, not the most interesting film. But visually, this one, a couple shots here, a couple of sequences. It looks like it's going to be an interesting time.
I love how this is the second movie of the day where we're talking about Tom Hanks in the movie with Elvis. Forrest Gump reference. But yeah. Also, this could also be kind of problematic because it seems like they're just like, and maybe they will like touch on this and touch on the bad parts of this, but Elvis just like basically stealing rock and roll from Black people. Like, we'll see how they handle that because that's a thing that should be addressed.
Boring name, really boring name. Elvis.
Elvis.
Yeah, I know what the movie's about now, but equally, Elvis, really.
Did you see in the credits? Baz Luhrmann is credited on the screenplay for 3 different times.
Is he?
It's by Baz Luhrmann and this person and Baz Luhrmann and this person and Baz Luhrmann.
Okay, well, if that's not a narcissist, I don't know who is.
Like, I don't know. I just like this could like we said, Austin Butler could get nominated. Tom Hanks is going to be in the conversation, 1 because he's Tom Hanks and 2 because he's doing lots of stuff similar to Jared Leto. Production design, costumes, editing, sound, makeup and hair, all these things could happen if they really, really like it. Picture.
Yeah.
Like
all of Baz Luhrmann's films do quite well in those departments.
Yeah. I mean, and this looks like Respect didn't pick up that much. I mean, it still picked up a SAG nomination, but even that that wasn't that stylized. It also didn't have the biggest release. This is already being pushed harder than Respect ever was. Also, it's rumored that this is going to open Cannes Film Festival, similarly to how Rocketman opened Cannes Film Festival. So,
but Rocketman also, let's not forget, didn't do as well as it would have liked to at the Oscars.
No, but it was still a major contender in award season. Regardless of if this ends up with a lot of nominations at the end of the day, this is going to be a major contender this award season.
Yeah.
It's also a WB release that's in theaters, and it's not part of a franchise, so that's kind of interesting. But this is going to be a tentpole summer film. We will, of course, be talking about it here. I don't know. Wasn't that enticed by the trailer, but we'll see what happens with it. We'll see what happens. All right, should we get into some reviews?
Okay, yeah, sure.
I'll kick it off.
Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. What? All right, that's moving on. No, this so bad. Easily one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Wow, okay.
I gave it a 0.5 star on Letterboxd, and that's purely because I like Elsie Fisher as a person.
And because you can't go lower than that on Letterboxd.
Also because you can't go lower than that on Letterboxd. It's so bad. One, it completely disrespects the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre and the survivor of that. It doesn't, and I'm not I don't love Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but it was just very blatantly just a middle finger to that movie. And then I don't know, there were a couple of kills, and I'm not the biggest fan of the slasher genre. I guess people kind of thought the kills were fun, so sure. I don't really care about that. I don't derive joy out of watching people get brutally murdered. I'm sorry. But they tried to do social commentary with it about these liberal teenagers going to Texas and trying to start something, and it tried to talk about gun control and stuff, but it comes across in the most tasteless way possible. It was just how are we going to make this interesting? Let's try to do political commentary.
Well,
and it's and it was just annoying because it's yeah, okay, I get what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying. You weren't convincing me of anything. You're just being annoying. It was just there as a plot point. They weren't actually trying to say anything. It didn't that really tie into the narrative at all. It was just saying we need time to fill and we need characters to talk about something. So here's this. And it's also just dumb. It's so stupid. And I know it's a slasher film, but it's below below the IQ levels of typical slasher films, slasher sequels. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's so weirdly shot. It's so gray.
Mm-hmm.
But then they try to do all these sunlight shots, but it doesn't work because they graded it horribly. I don't know. All you need to see is the poster of him photoshopped into a cornfield, and that's really all you need to know about the movie. It's so bad. It's the worst film I've seen all year. It's going to end up probably in might still stay at the bottom of my list by the end of the year. it's bad. Like it's like not even fun, but it's really bad. Um, so yeah, I would normally say like check the movie out and form your own opinion, but don't I don't want to be responsible for you having to go through that.
I'm not gonna check it out. I'm not gonna check it out.
Yeah. Um, I'll talk about Dog and the thing, but let's talk about Flea
Okay,
first.
yeah, let's move on to something a lot more positive.
It's something a lot more, even though this was also like not a bit of a brutal watch at points, but
Well, yeah,
a
yeah,
very
not
good
positive in
film.
terms of content, but positive
Yes.
in terms of how good this film was. Because this film was very, very good, very, very good.
Yeah.
Definitely one of my favorite animated contenders this year. My favorite, maybe I'd say it's close between another one and that. But definitely up there. Definitely one of the best
Yeah.
contenders that they've got this year. Animation was beautiful, like beautiful. Whenever they shifted like just like monochrome colors and all the
Yeah.
darkness there, that was amazing. When they
The
contrasted it
neon
with the
lighting,
actual clips,
the
yes, and
neon
the lighting
lighting.
as well, and all that.
Yeah.
Like so much attention to detail. You can really tell this is the film the filmmakers wanted to make. In a way, I'm sure the Texas Chainsaw Massacre wasn't. The filmmakers clearly had a passion for making this, and
Yeah.
this was a story they wanted to tell. The documentary like form works to an extent. I do think they cut back to the real time a little
Yeah.
too much. I do think it takes time off the actual interesting story, and does almost detract slightly from the pace of the story. Like I would have
Yeah.
rather have seen maybe all of the story like put together, and maybe like a clip of him introducing it and then a bit more story after it. That would have maybe worked a little better in terms of structure. But overall, very, very good film.
Yeah. That's honestly my only complaint too. I would love for this to be a little bit more tightly paced. But like I really don't have that many complaints. It's like it's a as we said, like beautiful animation, like some of my favorite animation ever. I mean, it's up there with Ernest and Celestine. It's like my favorite, like just like animation. Um, I think that the story is not only like incredible, like it's incredibly relevant. It's incredibly topical. It's incredibly important, but it's also like incredibly powerful. Um, every beat works. Like there is some like also some like fun moments in there. I chuckled a couple of times.
Yeah,
There is a great moment where without spoiling anything, um, the lead character subject, I guess, I'm in. His brother takes him somewhere, um, and the revelation that comes within that moment of just all of the emotions and then how the interior of that place is lit and portrayed is just it's so beautiful. There's so much to love about this film.
yeah,
It's very charming. It's very sad. It's very like fun at points. It's also short. It's only an hour and 25
yeah.
minutes. Like this is on Hulu now, everybody, at least in the US. Um, so like if you have the chance to watch it, please check it out. This is really it's a great movie.
Yeah. It's
It's
also
one of
one
my
that makes you
favorite.
think as well.
Yeah,
Like, sure, Encanto's probably going to win animated feature. It's not a film that's going to stick with you. It's not a film that makes you think or challenges your belief set
yeah,
anyway. This is one that does. And films need to do that sometimes.
yeah,
Sometimes you can just have Michael Bay films, purely entertainment. But sometimes you need to have these sort of films.
yeah.
They really challenge you.
And I think I love animation as a way to portray the story because like a lot of the elements in the story that you wouldn't have a camera there. But they were still able to tell this true story. And it does challenge you quite a bit because like this is a real thing that happened to somebody. Like this actually happened to somebody. Somebody
Yeah.
had to go through all of this. And
Mm.
like we can feel at times like we're just watching a narrative film because it's an animation. Like it doesn't like look real all the times, but they ground you every like 10 to 15 minutes or so with like a real life clip that's like incredibly brutal at times, and incredibly just like shocking at points of just like bringing you
Yeah.
back into the reality that this happened. This is a
Yeah,
real
and I
thing.
think maybe that's what they were trying to do by constantly cutting between the actual story
Yes.
and the interviews. But I think, as you say, the real life clips did that just fine. Like, you didn't need to do that, but it was a way of just really hitting home that point.
Yeah, and like we're saying, like it wasn't, that aspect wasn't executed, that like it wasn't executed to the best possible degree that it could have been. But it doesn't hurt the film that much for me. It's still, I placed it in my top 10 of the year. It's number 8 for me. I really do love this movie. I would highly encourage everybody to check it out. I would personally place it at a 9.5 out of 10.
Okay, I'd go 8.59 in that sort of range. High 8,
Okay.
low 9, that sort of range.
All right. But think it's fair to say a pretty strong recommendation from both of us to check it out. A great film. A great film.
Oh, by the way, was Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1 or 0 out of 10?
Like a 0.2, 0.3. Okay. Once again, just for Elsie Fisher. Right. Because 8th grade is great. And, you know, she just... yeah. I don't like giving movies 0 because, like, I feel like that's, like, entirely disrespectful to everybody who, like, worked on the film. So, like, you know, I'll give it a couple tenths of a point. Right. Because they did make a movie, and that's hard to do. So they just weren't very good at it. So, all right, I'll talk about Dog. This is average. It's not great. It's hard to hate though, because like there's a puppy. Channing Tatum's charming. Like he's, you know, a little too charming at points. He can get like, kind of over the top. But like it's fun. It felt very much like dad humor. Not in the sense of like dad jokes, but like things that like, you know, I'm just making a massive generalization about all dads, but like people that were born in like the 80s and 90s would probably think we're like pretty funny, especially if you're an American. I was in the theater with lots of people that were, you know, probably between the ages of like 40 and 60. You know, it probably may or may not, like, definitely saw a couple of like U.S. military hats, and like they loved it. So like I was not the target audience for this film, but I still had a fun time with it. Like it feels at times like it's just like a collection of bits. Right. And then in like the last 30 minutes, it tries to become dramatic, which with the story that it's trying to tell, this guy bringing home the dog, like a dog for like his friend's funeral, like it's like very dramatic piece, but it feels like a little bit of tonal whiplash going from like this fun, like quirky thing, to just being like, you know, now we're going to try to make you cry. And I wish they would have delved more into the dramatic bits, because it dives a little bit into like his mental health, Channing Tatum's character, and like the effects of like what, you know, war and like the military did to him, and how he's like grappling with those things, and trying to push those things aside. And it's really, really interesting. There's a part of the film where like he has like a seizure, and like Tatum crushed it. Like he did very, very good with it. He also directed the film. There's, you know, he's like estranged from like his family because of like these reasons, and like it talks about like homelessness within like the military. Like there are like glimpses of like some really, really interesting things, but then it just kind of like moves by them and then makes a joke, and it's like, okay, now like let's forget about all the sad stuff. Let's just have a fun time. So like I think that there was a really, really interesting movie in here. I think there was something that could have been like very good. It just never got all the way there for me. I still didn't hate it. Also, this movie shot very well.
Okay.
It's from the cinematographer behind Drive and The Five Bloods. Just to name a couple of down. But like he still brings a lot to this movie. I put it in my Letterboxd review. I sadly forgot the guy's name. But there's a Newton somewhere in there. It's 3 names. I think Newton's one of them. You can find it in my Letterboxd review, or Google it. Though if you Google dog cinematographer, it will bring up Ari Wegner for Power of the Dog. So, you know, you'll find it eventually. But like he brings a lot of really interesting uses of light and like reflection in this. There's some very fun shots. There's like an interrogation scene where there's like a one-way mirror, and how he uses the reflection on that is really interesting. When Channing Tatum's having a seizure, he uses like neon lights in a really interesting way to like reflect off of him and like the dog's eyes, which is really cool. It felt very reminiscent of Drive with all the neon like lights and everything, and all the fluorescent lights. So like it's a very well shot film. So like I enjoyed my time. It's a little long for like it feels long for being an hour 40 because it's only like an hour 40, probably like an hour 35, hour 30 without credits. It feels a little bit long. It definitely drags, and I think that has to do with just like this series of bits, not all of which were that funny. There were a couple of funny moments, but like I think also because the humor didn't work as well for me. It felt a little bit long, but overall I didn't hate it. Like if you were if you felt interested by the trailer, you're probably going to like it. If you weren't that interested by the trailer, you probably won't. I'm at like a solid 5.5, 6. It was
Okay.
It was fine. It was okay. So that is Dog. Thomas, do you want to get into some questions?
Okay, the questions. Yes.
Question time, everybody. Question time. I don't know what that voice was, but
Tom Hanks's accent in Elvis train. That's what you did there. You deliberate. You thought about that one.
Question time. I'm Tom Hanks. All right. Our first question. We'll touch a little bit on Uncharted, which came out this weekend. We have a review up for it now, but let's talk about what our favorite video game movies are. What is the best video game movie? And it is not Uncharted. Thomas, I'm going to cheat, so I'll go first.
Okay.
The best video game movie is Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Okay, that really is cheating. That is cheating. That is just blatant cheating. No way is Scott Pilgrim a video game movie.
It's very centric around video games. The themes, like it plays out visually like a video game. I mean, like, would it be more fair to say something like Free Guy or Ready Player One?
Yeah, Free Guy would. Yeah, Free Guy. Oh, actually. Okay, are we talking video game movie or video based on video games?
I think we can say either. So my favorite video game movie is Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Okay.
I love Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. I love the humor style. It's my favorite Edgar Wright film. I think that Michael Cera is very funny. It definitely has some problems, but it's very fun. It's one of my favorite comedies of all time, right alongside My Cousin Vinny. Comedies are I'm not one to particularly enjoy comedies that much, but Scott Pilgrim vs. the World very consistently makes me laugh, and like it's a very fun ode to like pop culture, especially in 2010, just like that era of pop culture when like the internet had been around, and then like kind of like the millennial Gen Z generation was starting to like do a bunch of stuff on it, and it was just like all of that chaos portrayed on film, and it's the vegan police. So I enjoy that film quite a bit, and that is my favorite. That's my cheat answer to favorite video game movie. So Thomas, you can have your general one, and then we can talk about actual video game adaptation.
Okay, so right, so there's only really a couple of options you can go for here. I mean, unless you want to say Mortal Kombat's your favorite, then that's your opinion, I guess. It's a dumb opinion, but it's your opinion. So let's talk. So, pardon?
I said, which Mortal Kombat?
Oh, just any of them. Any of them. If they're your favorite, that's like if you are going for these video game movies, which I don't count it as cheating. You could throw a couple out there. Wreck-It Ralph is another one that you didn't mention. Yeah. That is good. A good video game movie. I think it's just a tad overrated.
Yeah.
But it is good, and Free Guy as well, as you mentioned, probably would be up there. But I'm going to go for one that is based on a video game. Because out of these ones that are based on video games, there aren't many. Like the Angry Birds movies are passable.
But when we talk about the Angry Birds movie 2, that's when it gets real. Like that movie slept. No, it's you can.
No, but my answer is Detective Pikachu.
Yep.
I just thought this was a very enjoyable film. And this was one of the first, real video game movies to break out. And a lot of people generally like this movie. It's got a pretty positive reputation. I thought the twist at the end was actually good, as much as I definitely saw it coming because it was a very obvious twist.
Yeah.
It was well done. But what I really appreciated about this was the world it created. I didn't expect the world it created to be so vibrant and lively, but it was. And how they had all the Pokemon around, the CGI was actually good. The interaction between Pikachu and I be damned if I know the name of the guy. I don't know who the name of the guy is. I saw it once 3 years
Not
ago.
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, not the other one. The other guy who goes on an adventure with him. Their interaction is actually very good, and much of this film is carried by Ryan Reynolds. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't. Without him as Detective Pikachu, without him playing this role so well, this film may have been dreadful. Because the plot is not the most coherent. But it really was about the world and the interactions and the vibrancy of it all. And it just felt fun. It felt like fun. And a lot of these video game movies, they try and be something more. Like Tomb Raider, which it should have appreciated the fact it was a dumb movie. That's why I did like Uncharted a bit more than you did, because I think it did appreciate the fact it was a dumb movie. Sonic the Hedgehog as well, to an extent, appreciated it was a dumb movie. But Detective Pikachu is my choice for the best video game movie.
Yeah, if I had to give a real answer, I would say Sonic the Hedgehog. I have not seen Detective Pikachu, but I don't know, Sonic the Hedgehog's the only one that I can think of that I didn't hate. So I guess just kind of arbitrarily, it's okay. It's occasionally fun. Jim Carrey's doing something. He's at least entertaining. Again, to bring back up any of the Mortal Kombats, which I sadly have seen all of, those were just boring. At least Jim Carrey didn't make it boring.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Idris Elba's voicing a raccoon or whatever in this next one. So what?
Yeah.
Is it another hedgehog? I don't know.
It's Knuckles. Yeah. The red hedgehog.
Oh yeah, I forgot. There's so many different colors of hedgehogs.
Yeah. They're not hedgehogs. I don't know really why it's called Sonic the Hedgehog.
Right. Hedgehogs are spiky.
Exactly. Exactly. None of them are hedgehogs.
What do they kind of look like? Foxes.
I mean, they don't look like anything really.
Weird mutated fox.
They look more like foxes than they do like hedgehogs. I'll give them that.
Yeah. Anyways, if I had to give a real answer, Sonic the Hedgehog, but I haven't been the biggest fan of any video game movie, so that's why I decided to cheat and give a what is to me a 10 out of 10 movie with Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. So
okay.
Video game movies aren't particularly my favorite, but I wanted to get a discussion in about video game movies since we did just have Uncharted come out. All right, let's talk about Oscars. Ugh. Yucky video game movies. We're smarter than that.
God, are we film snobs,
Yeah. Let's talk about the power of the dog. So let's talk about scores. Not our ratings, our scores. Film scores. Music. Hans Zimmer. The perceived frontrunner for Dune. However, within critic circles, Johnny Greenwood was pretty close. Granted, so far we've seen that Golden Globes at least gave it to Zimmer. We haven't seen the guilds for music hand out their awards. And the Grammys aren't that much of an help because Power of the Dog wasn't nominated, because why would the Grammys nominate the Power of the Dog? So is there a world in which Johnny Greenwood upsets here? And do we think that maybe the people who voted for Spencer to get in for score jump in with Johnny Greenwood for Power of the Dog to give Johnny Greenwood the win, because that was the scenario where I could potentially see. I mean, anybody who voted for Johnny Greenwood, even, or like for Licorice Pizza, even people who voted for Johnny Greenwood, jump in with that.
Yeah.
He's not had an Oscar. He's overdue.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Just to say also, I remember at one point in time we had like, we were going to have 3 people in this category. It was just going to be Desplat, Greenwood, and Zimmer sharing it. But that completely
Desplat wasn't even nominated. He was supposed to be
Desplat didn't
nominated
even get
any.
any.
Dispatch,
but yeah, that's just a fun little thing if you go way back to our September predictions. But anyway, Johnny Greenwood had a shot. Power of the Dog is easily number 2, behind Dune. If you are coming at this from a more, amateur standpoint, I don't want to say amateur because they're not amateurs, but if you're just going to watch a film and like choose a score that's the best, you're going to probably pick Dune. Like, if you're not thinking about politics, if you're not thinking about, he didn't get nominated for this film, but I prefer this film, so I'm going to nominate him here. If you're not doing all that, you're probably going to pick Dune. That does make me think the vast majority might end up picking Dune just by default to add to the collection. Personally, Dune is probably a better score. Yes.
I'd go Power of the Dog personally, but
okay. So I'd go Dune, Power of the Dog, Spencer, and then it's just about would I personally vote for my number 1 or my number 2 and 3 combined. Pretty much that'd be the debate I'd have in my head. But equally, will they be having a debate? I don't know. Johnny Greenwood, he's got a shot. Because this is a category. It could be close. Equally, I would say Handem is easily the front runner. But I could see a possibility that Greenwood does end up taking home.
I need to see Greenwood win something. Okay, so scenario: Greenwood wins Critics' Choice.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think we need to seriously consider it.
Then I do think, the competition opens even more. At this point, there is competition. It's just how this is really more about the Power of a Dog than it is about Dune. There is no way Dune is losing steam. There is no way Dune is not going to be a very, very, very strong contender going into it. It's just about whether Power of a Dog can build up momentum. The people backing Spencer can jump on board. It's all those factors. So it's going to be the Power of a Dog who wins it rather than Dune losing it in this category.
Yep. I mean, in Power of the Dog, nominated more times than Dune, and I don't think anybody really saw that coming, that Power of the Dog was going to be the most nominated film of the year. Like, I don't think we really saw that happening at all. I mean, and this is similar to like the conversation with cinematography with Power of the Dog versus Dune. Power of the Dog is hard enough. Same thing with editing of Power of the Dog versus Dune. Like, there's all 3 of those categories, which are all fairly big categories. Like, Dune is the front runner. Power of the Dog is a close second, I would say, in all 3 of those categories. I find it hard to imagine that Power of the Dog wouldn't win at least one of those 3 between cinematography, editing, and score, especially since it's winning picture and director and screenplay. For it not to win at least one of those, maybe even 2, I don't know, especially with Dune without a direction nomination, which doesn't have a lot to do with score, but has a lot to do with cinematography and editing. I think we're going to see Power of the Dog upset in a couple of those categories. So I will be predicting it for one of them in our first Oscars winners predictions come early March. So be on the lookout for that. But overall, I think it's very close right now. I think it's closer than people think.
Okay. Yeah, I can see why.
Okay. Let's now talk more about the Power of the Dog. Because do we think what's the number 2? Because we thought it was Belfast, but then Belfast missed cinematography and editing. And it's probably not the favorite to win screenplay at this point.
No.
The conversation for another day. But what's the number 2? Is the number 2 still Belfast?
I think Belfast is definitely the number 3, if not number 2. Power of the Dog is so strong at this point. It is hard to try and pin down a real number 2. I think a sneaky contender might be King Richard. maybe it is my love for the film.
It could be the Green Book. It could be the
Exactly.
Green Book.
It doesn't have director, but Greenwood didn't have director. But what it does have is a very, very strong chance in actor. It's probably third right now in original screenplay behind Belfast and Licorice Pizza. So it's got an outside shot. I don't think it will win, but it's got an outside shot. And it's got that all-important editing nomination. That's important for a Best Picture winner to have that editing nomination. Even if it doesn't win, it still should really have it. But outside of that, I don't really think there is a proper contender. I'd say 1 is Power of the Dog, 2 is King Richard, 3 for me is Belfast.
So another film to look at is Don't Look Up. Why? Here's why. SAG Ensemble. I think Don't Look Up's going to win SAG Ensemble, even without any other nominations. We saw Parasite do it. I mean, coincidentally, Adam McKay, Bong Joon-ho, very good friends. Bong Joon-ho, I think, said that Don't Look Up was his favorite film of the year, which, definitely wasn't film Twitter's favorite thing. But, like, if Don't Look Up wins SAG Ensemble, right? I get that it didn't get any acting nominations. It didn't get a director nomination. But, like, I don't even think Don't Look Up could win Best Picture. But to be the number 2, what if that upsets in screenplay? Because Belfast isn't looking that strong in screenplay. Licorice Pizza was looking kind of strong. However, PTA kind of defended the racism in his screenplay in an interview. So there was already backlash, and now he's getting a little bit more backlash for that. Don't Look Up, if those two are splitting votes, Don't Look Up could surge, pick up a screenplay win. If with screenplay and SAG Ensemble, like, if we're looking at Power of the Dog taking picture, director, and adapted, Don't Look Up could be the runner-up with original screenplay and a SAG Ensemble win, especially if Power of the Dog sweeps every single Best Picture. Because, like, there's obviously, PGA, it already won Golden Globe, PGA, Critics' Choice, BAFTA. Power of the Dog's probably winning all of those. The only other big Best Picture predictor is SAG Ensemble, which Power of the Dog wasn't nominated for. I think they're going with Don't Look Up there, as of now.
Yeah.
So
there are reasons you could go for that. First of all, viewing figures would be bang if Don't Look Up wins. That'd be great for viewing figures. But Parasite had the director nomination.
It did.
Don't Look Up doesn't.
It was also much more critically beloved.
Exactly, a lot more critically beloved. And Leonardo DiCaprio is not in. There's no acting nominations, which does worry me a bit. Also, the song snubbed. VFX, it didn't really ever have a shot in that category, but it was always in the conversation. That just did not happen. So a lot of things just didn't happen for this movie, which does worry me a bit. But yeah, I would say it's probably number 4 behind the 3 that I mentioned, or 2 that I mentioned. Power of the Dog obviously doesn't need to be mentioned at this point.
Yeah. I agree. I think people have also brought up Coda, because if
I
don't see it happening, but if hypothetically it does upset in screenplay and supporting actor, I guess.
I think it was a miracle that it was even nominated, considering Apple didn't pump any money into it, into its campaign. So to win a winning film without a campaign behind it, I just do not see happening in a million years.
Yeah, I think Licorice Pizza would have needed more nominations, but that's kind of underperformed. And like we said, it might not even win screenplay. I don't think that's a sure thing.
Yeah. I think Drive My Car probably has more of a shot than I'd say Coda, Nightmare Alley, possibly Licorice Pizza as well are in that bottom band. And then I'd put Drive My Car, Dune, West Side Story, and then
and Dune is another one. It has the second most nominations. I would probably have it at number 2, but it missed a director nomination.
Yeah.
If that got a director nomination, I think that's the solid number 2.
Yeah, I mean, as well, there are counterpoints that you can make to that. Would they give it to a part 1? I don't know, but yeah, it would be a very solid number 2, number 3, that sort of region, if it had the director nod, which it doesn't. So
it's everything you can make arguments against except Power of the Dog.
Except Power of the Dog.
This is
the only one you could make is it's sort of a critically, it's a sort of critics western. It's not going to be beloved by the general audience.
Nomadland.
Yeah, exactly. Equally, Nomadland one. So I'm sorry, that argument doesn't really work anymore.
Yeah. So, it's I'm feeling very, very confident in predicting Power of the Dogs, and people are trying to make arguments to make it interesting, but like, unless we start to see some Roma stuff happening, like Roma Green Book stuff happening, it's the Power of the Dogs. So that would normally be the end of the show, but we have some breaking news.
Oh,
the Critics' Choice Super Awards were just announced.
Okay.
So these are they aren't that important, but they're basically like the Critics' Choice Awards, but like the People's Choice Awards, but Critics' Choice. So it's basically like genre categories for the Critics' Choice.
Important for the fan favorite of the Oscars, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, so these categories used to be part of Critics' Choice, like Best Action Movie, Best Comedy, Best Fantasy Sci-Fi. They've moved them to their own thing, but this can tell us what type of movies have support from critics for the Critics' Choice, and they're also just kind of fun. So we can do a first time reaction for both of us here.
Okay. Filled with excitement for these.
Best Action Movie: Gunpowder Milkshake. It's an odd choice. The Harder They Fall. I like that pick.
Okay.
The Last Duel. Like it. Nobody. No Time to Die. And Wrath of Man. Did they just stump Spider-Man?
Yeah. Wrath of Man. That is an oddball pick.
Yeah. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it, but
no.
Odd choice.
But yeah, also happy they went for Last Duel. A lot of people would be sniffy at that being an action film, but actually that the action in the actual duel itself, brilliant. Some of the best I've seen all year. So I'm happy they did recognize it there.
Yeah, agreed. All right, actor in an action movie: Daniel Craig, No Time to Die.
Yeah.
Dwayne Johnson, Jungle Cruise.
Oh God. Oh dear.
Your critics. Okay, here we go. Jonathan Majors, Harder They Fall. There's a good pick.
Okay, that's a good pick.
Oh, I love this pick. Mads Mikkelsen, Riders of Justice. Absolutely love that pick. Good job for nominating that. And then you do and then they nominate Liam Neeson for The Ice Road.
Okay.
And then
I'd be lying if I said I've heard of The Ice Road, to be honest.
There's a Netflix thing. And then Bob Odenkirk for Nobody.
Oh, good.
So that's a fun pick. I like 4 of those: Daniel Craig, Jonathan Majors, Mads Mikkelsen, Bob Odenkirk. Also, like, I would love to see Simu Liu show up here for Shang-Chi.
I mean, over some of the ones they got in, yeah, probably.
Well, also, if we're talking about it, like, for an action film, like a lot of the stunts that he had to pull off, like the hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
That I think that's worthy if we're talking about actor specifically in an action film. This is interesting. All right, actress in an action movie. Oh, also they didn't have anybody from The Last Duel for actor.
Oh, that is a shame.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, they nominated Jodie Comer for The Last Duel for actress in an action movie. Ana de Armas, No Time to Die. Love it.
Okay.
Karen Gillan for Gunpowder Milkshake.
Right.
Weird choice. Regina King, Harder They Fall. Like that. Lashana Lynch, No Time to Die. Also like that. And then Maggie Q in The Protege. That's interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, we have best superhero movie. So I'm assuming this is where all of
okay.
Yeah. So we have Black Widow, Eternal, Shang-Chi, Spider-Man, The Suicide Squad, and Zack Snyder's Justice League. So they just did the 4 MCU movies and the 2 DCEU.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. I'm very curious to see what wins here. I'm assuming Spider-Man. But...
Yeah. It'd be between Spider-Man and Zack Snyder's.
Yeah. Okay, I'm curious to see what happens in the acting category.
Zack Snyder's.
Yeah. I'm very curious to see what happens in the acting category. Actor in a superhero movie: John Cena, The Suicide Squad. Okay, probably writing off the Peacemaker high right now.
Yeah.
Idris Elba, The Suicide Squad. Sure. Like, I guess. Andrew Garfield, No Way Home. Love it. Tom Holland, No Way Home. Okay. Good job. Tony Leung, Shang-Chi.
Okay.
Love that pick. Easily the best part of that film might be like...
Yeah.
He might be my personal pick to win. And then here's Simu Liu for Shang-Chi.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'd be voting for either Tony Leung or Garfield.
Yeah.
All right, actress in a superhero movie. We have, Gal Gadot and Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Right.
Scarlett Johansson and Black Widow.
Okay.
Okay, good pick here. Florence Pugh, Black Widow.
Good.
There's a good pick. Margot Robbie, Suicide Squad, another good pick.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a fun one. Michelle Yeoh for Shang-Chi.
Okay.
I mean, I like that.
Yeah.
I guess. And then Zendaya for No Way Home because they couldn't not.
Yeah.
Okay, best horror movie. You better nominate.
I'd say at least they didn't put in Gemma Chan for Eternals.
Yes.
Yeah. At
Even
least
though I
they
wasn't
didn't
the
do
biggest fan, yeah, even though I liked Eternals, Gemma Chan wasn't. She was very cold.
Yeah.
All right, best horror movie. Please, Candyman.
Halloween Kills. I'm waiting for it.
Last Night in Soho.
Okay.
I like that because I quite like Last Night in Soho. Malignant. Didn't really like that. The Night House.
Mm-hmm.
A Quiet Place Part 2.
Okay.
Titan.
Oh, okay. So, Halloween Kills snubbed then, I guess. Well, not snubbed because from what I've heard, it didn't deserve to be in, but equally.
Yeah. Please give me a Get Roussel for Titan. Oh, I will be so happy. An actress.
That's not gonna happen.
No, please. I need it too, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Actor in a horror movie. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, Candyman. Yeah.
Okay.
Nicolas Cage in Willy's Wonderland.
Okay. I mean,
sure.
Yeah. Would have rather seen a nomination for him in Pig at the Oscars, but
yeah,
well, we take what we can get.
Dane Davis in The Vigil. I don't even know what that is.
The Vigil.
I don't think I've heard of that.
The Vigil.
Vincent Lind on Titan. Titan. They're nominating to Get Roussel.
They very well might do.
Oh, I'm very excited about this. I'm loving the Titan love. I needed this. Go watch Dungeons, everybody. If you're in America.
The Vigil's a 2019 film.
Well, probably festival. It was probably festival.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, nobody cares about The Vigil. I'm very excited about Titan. Okay. Cillian Murphy, Quiet Place Part 2. I like that.
Okay.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. Sam Richardson, Werewolves Within.
Okay.
Sure. I mean, I've heard some good things about the movie. All right, actress in a horror movie. You better do a Get Roussel. Okay. Barbara Crampton, Jacob's wife. Don't know what that is. Rebecca Hall, The Night House. I like it. Oh, cool. Anya Taylor-Joy, Last Night in Soho.
Okay.
I like that pick. Thomas and Mackenzie, Last Night in Soho. Another pick that I like. They did it, Thomas. I Get Roussel Titan.
They did it. Okay.
3 nominations for Titan. That makes me so happy. Yeah. That makes me so happy. I just like
all not always you see, Titan and Dwayne Johnson from Jungle Cruise in the same award ceremony, but here we are.
Here we are. And I'm not complaining. Would have much rather seen Jesse Plemons for Jungle Cruise, but we can't always get what we want. And then this is a cool pick. Millicent Simmons, A Quiet Place Part 2. His last actor's pick.
Okay.
I like that pick.
Yeah.
All right. I believe this is the last section. Yes. Sci-fi fantasy movie. Don't Look Up.
Okay.
Dune.
Okay.
Sense. Free Guy.
Okay.
The Green Knight. Oh, I like that.
Good.
I like that.
Hopefully Dev Patel.
Oh yeah, Dev Patel would be great. Mitchell's versus the Machines. Okay. I mean, I guess that's more support for Mitchell's versus the Machines to take animated at Critics' Choice, which would be huge. So the more support Mitchell's gets, I'm happy with it. Oh, I love this last pick, Swan Song.
Oh, good.
I love that last pick.
Yeah.
Swan Song is so underrated. Like, if they campaigned for Mahershala harder, like, he already got into BAFTA and Golden Globe, like, he could have very easily been nominated at Critics' Choice in the Oscars.
Yeah.
If, Apple put more behind that. Because it's such an underrated movie. He was really great.
If Apple actually pumped money into the Oscars, we could see Swan Song, we could see
Macbeth.
Coda in the Best Picture conversation. We could see more Macbeth, but they decided not to.
Yep. All right.
Finch for like visual effects or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Finch is another one that I didn't hate. Like
Exactly.
it's a fine movie. Actor in a sci-fi fantasy movie. Mahershala, Swan Song. Love
There
that.
we go.
Timmy for Dune.
Okay.
DiCaprio, Don't Look Up. That makes sense. Speak of it, Tom Hanks for Finch. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
They did it, Dev Patel.
Dev Patel.
Nice. And then Ryan Reynolds, Free Guy. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. Love that Dev Patel's there. And yeah, I don't know. I'd probably vote for either Patel or Mahershala.
Yes, I would. I'd probably vote for. I might even vote for Mahershala. You know.
Yeah. Probably Green Knight for the best sci-fi fantasy, and then
Yeah.
Mahershala for actor. All right, actress in the sci-fi fantasy movie. Kate Blanchett, Don't Look Up.
Okay.
Jodie Comer, Free Guy. Jodie Comer double nominated.
Double nominated.
Free Guy. Rebecca Ferguson, Dune. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh my God, McKenna Grace for Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
J Law for Don't Look Up. And Alicia Vikander for The Green Knight.
Oh,
They
wow.
did.
Okay.
They love The Green Knight. They did Green
They're
Knight.
really working at both ends of the spectrum, aren't they? Titan and the Green Knight, and Jungle Cruise and Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yeah, I like a lot of these nominations. I'm not gonna lie. Like there are some odd ones, but like I'm pretty happy with these. Like the Critics' Choice Super Awards are always like the better version of the People's Choice Awards. Like they nominate, they do like best superhero movie, sci-fi, fantasy, horror, action. Like they have all these categories, but like they usually make some pretty good picks within like these odd categories. So like these I'm gonna tell my kids that this was the People's Choice Awards. And Titan and the Green Knight were nominated. All right. Oh, we have one more category. Best villain in a movie.
Okay. Right.
Ben Affleck, The Last Duel. Sure. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's a villain. Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Okay. Yeah. More or less, sure, the better.
Willem Dafoe, Spider-Man No Way Home. Yeah.
Okay.
Love it. Idris Elba, Harder They Fall. Love it.
Okay.
Tony Leung, Shang-Chi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Marina Mazepa and Ryan Chase in Malignant. Assuming they played the monster. Okay. And then Tony Todd in Candyman. So that's sure.
Okay.
That works.
Yeah.
I like a lot of those nominations though. Overall, like this wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
No.
Like this was fun.
Yeah.
I like a lot of these nominations. That was enjoyable. Critics' Choice, you did a pretty good job. I'm cool with a lot of those. So I don't know. Let's see. When are the winners announced? March 17th. So I like right around when the actual winners are announced. But that's fun. Those were fun. I'm glad we had the time to do those because that was enjoyable. Green Knight and Titan love. We love to see it. But that is the end of the show. Another fun show. Next week we got the big 2-0, and I'm going to stop rhyming. Thomas, where can people on the internet find you?
You can find me at Payments Pictures and on Letterboxd at Thomas Gladstone.
And you can find me at The Basement on YouTube. Do movie stuff. Twitter at Trevor Mattson, where you can find my hot takes about Forrest Gump. And that's all I tweet about is just Forrest Gump. Letterboxd Trevor Mattson, and I'm also now a certified critic on the Banana Meter. Threw up my 3% for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But thank you everybody so much for watching. It is SAG Winners Week, so we will have predictions coming very soon and our reaction to the winners over the weekend, plus our first Oscar winners predictions will be in a week or so. So lots to look forward to, because like we're heating up. We're getting into March. Next month is Oscars month. Lots to look forward to.
Yes.
So you can stick around if you want and watch us talk about it, because I mean, if that's how you want to spend your time. So thank you everybody for watching, and until next time, stay safe everybody, and